magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What's up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast starting live stream main event. I'm your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and now it is Saturday. And it is the Saturday before TFcon weekend. So next week, we will not have a live stream. We'll probably do a live stream sometime during the week, next week, leading up to TFcon weekend. But enjoy the live stream tonight because we are going to be chilling. We're going to be talking about the robots in disguise. We'll cover some TFcon related stuff going into that week. We're going to talk about the All Japan toy show and many, many more. And shout out to my sister Annie in the chat who gave me a little bit of a haircut. But who is in the chat, actually? Let me see. Who's in the chat today? Who do we got? I got to reach for the other screen mouse here. We got Brainstorm 2002. What's up? We got Dylan. How you doing? Joshua Havoc. Nice to see you, Havoc. Da-Emo. Got Will Murphy. Got Minister Spinister. I like that name. I have a close connection to Spinister because I got to work on 2 of his different figures and write his bios. Clyde, how you doing? James Horned Owl. What's up? Patrick Brown. Who else is here? Everyone's slowly piling into the Madness. T-Formers 2002, who I will see next week. What's up, T-Formers? Art of Saki, nice to see you. I saw you at TFcon Toronto. What's up? Timmy K. Hope I don't miss nobody. Rudy Mac. Who else? So many people. Everyone's still piling in. I don't want to miss nobody. But we will try our best. David Cabal, my man, I'll see you at TFcon LA next year. What's up? So then, we're going to cover a lot of Transformer stuff. We brought some stuff to talk about, got some wacky things here and there, and then some, a lot of good stuff. It's going to be a fun one tonight. So let's, we'll get into the news. We have some updates on little things here and there, some estimations that I had that I was actually incorrect on, and we have the corrections of those. So we will get to that too. But first, let's get into, most importantly, let's talk about the All Japan Model and Hobby Show 2025. It's technically done right now. I mean, it's going into its last day, but in terms of big reveals and stuff like that, everything has been shown. It'll just be the stragglers right now. Literally, as we speak right now, the doors are opening for the Sunday show in Japan, and that'll be that. But let's talk about some of the cool stuff that we got there that weekend and what we saw. First of all, some of the stuff that we've already seen, just better prototypes, better photos, different poses, the Ava Optimus, the MPG, Generations Optimus, the Studio Series 86 Soundwave, and of course the Masterpiece MPG Soundwave. It's kind of wild that we're getting a brand new Soundwave tooling, but they're still going to go one last time with the old Masterpiece one that came out in, 2013, 2011? Man, it's wild. It's wild that they're still, they're still bringing back. It's a great toy. Don't get me wrong. Probably, in my opinion, I'll be honest with you, I still think that Masterpiece Soundwave is the best version of Soundwave ever made, including, all the new stuff that we're getting. So it's pretty wild that we're getting those two side by side. But speaking of MPGs, we also got to see the next iteration of the MPG, actually not MPG, this is MPM, Movie Masterpiece Series. The Movie Masterpiece Series Next now, which is, they're resetting the numbering here and going into number 1 again. We're going to get a Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe. People were pointing out in the comments how he's being held up by little handy tack because of his circular wheels that no doubt he probably can't stand very well on. I'll be honest with you, I'm just looking over at my display of side swipes throughout the years of Revenge of the Fallen. The Human Alliance is probably leaning on other figures. The deluxe class from Revenge of the Fallen is probably leaning on other figures. His legend scale ones, the two of them that I could see from here, look like they're leaning on other figures. Like when you have wheel feet, it's not exactly stable. But then we got those little blast effects that are probably going to be little stands for his wheel feet. So it'll work out in the end. Don't have the alt mode in person. We just have the CAD models that we're showing on some nice acetate that they had on, at the booth there. Looks cool though. Looks really cool. The backpack looks a little busy on the prototype, but the CAD looks like it's a lot less busy. Maybe it's just mistransformed here, or they were just trying to be very careful with the prototype that they don't break it. It's happened many times before. I remember in BotCon back in the day. I forget who his name was. I think it was Brawly. I think his name was not Broly. That's a Dragon Ball character. One of the old Hasbro guys, I remember he like accidentally snapped one of the prototypes, and he was like, "Oh damn!" And they had to use a elastic band to kind of just attach it to the body temporarily because they weren't going to glue it. They were going to let Takara figure it out afterwards. So sometimes they're scared to mess with these protos. So if they're going to half transform it, so be it. But yeah, looking cool, looking cool. I don't know if I'm going to dip on this guy. It's hard to say. I mean, the Studio Series is pretty good. The Human Alliance was okay. The original deluxe from Revenge of the Fallen was quite fantastic. So I'm going to see how it is. We don't have a price yet or a release date. It's obviously going to be a 2026 product, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll ruminate on this. But this is clearly now we're going into Revenge of the Fallen. Like this shows that, yep, we're gonna, we're done our Autobots and Decepticons more or less of the 2007 movie. Obviously, we don't have, Frenzy or the Protoform, but we don't have, stuff like that. So it's something where they're going into Revenge of the Fallen. Who's going to be next? Maybe the Ice Cream Twins. Maybe the twins themselves. Ooh, who knows? They always, the rumor on the street is always, oh, they're offensive, but Japan don't care. Japan doesn't get offended. They just keep moving forward. So maybe that's the next time we'll see the twins will be this way. We shall see. I'd love to see them as the Ice Cream Twins first, because that design outside of the original toy has just not been revisited. So that'd be really cool to see them done again. I mean, yeah, they took the legend scale and gave them those colors, but the pinks and the whites, but it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. Now then, let's get into an update. Let's talk about the Transformers Overgear. So this is the brand new line from Takara and the T-Spark high-end line. And we have Ironhide or OG01, and we have OG02 Blackout. Now, I was talking to some former Hasbro employees on Instagram, and they pointed out to me something very interesting. They said that this is not what you think. So let me ask you this first. And I don't know if Mr. is in the chat here from Hasbro. It's not Aaron, just to clarify that. Who do you think this Ironhide is homaging? I want to know first if the audience has any idea of that. Which homage are we getting here with this Ironhide? What do you think? Kind of curious. We'll see what the chat says. Well, I get some water because I'm thirsty as hell. Good stuff. Good stuff. So we have some people that are saying Prime Ironhide, Energon Ironhide, Bulkhead, Energon Strong Arm, Cybertron Ironhide. Was there a Cybertron Ironhide? I don't think there was. No, there wasn't a Cybertron Ironhide. Unless you count technically the Japanese name of Demolishor, the Demolisher. So, interestingly enough, guys, and we'll get, Ari Nuts, we'll get to your question in a moment. Although I do agree, Ari Nuts, might as well pull this guy should totally be in the Transformers crossover line for sure. Maybe with I don't know who should be with Wheeljack, Brainstorm. I don't know. Not Brainstorm. Braver. He has Braver's colors. But yeah, so the Transformers Overgear line apparently is something that people have been asking for in confusion. So the one thing is people are going like, how come we're not getting a lot of Energon, aka Superlink homages? So Ironhide. Yeah. So apparently this line is going to take trademarks and copyrights of Energon characters from the West, because he was called Roadbuster in Japan, and giving them some updates in that high-end style that's different. So first we got Rodobasta, aka Overgear Ironhide. And then if you think about it, one of the very first Blackout trademarks was Energon. So this is Energon Blackout, aka one of the limbs of Bruticus Maximus, aka Bruticus from Energon, aka Superlink. Interesting. Very interesting. So that's his take, and he's someone who's on the inside. And he was totally fine with me putting it out there because he doesn't care anymore. He's not with the company anymore. So very interesting take on all of that. So, it makes me wonder now, what more will come from this if it's successful? What other characters? You know? Very bizarre. Very, very, very bizarre, to say the least. Now to go to Airy Nut's question, while people ruminate on this Overgear thing. So for Roboto, if you actually go back and watch his first appearance in He-Man, he lands from a mysterious ship from a robotic planet, and on his ship he has hieroglyphs from his planet that are very Cybertronian. So they have to do something with Roboto and Faker. Those are two characters that there's too much that's already kind of written in their lore that could be done for Cybertronian stuff. So very cool. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Something's up here. Something is up. Who should they do next? Will we get a Transformers Overgear Rodimus? Transformers Overgear Wing Saber? Transformers Overgear Hotshot? It's a good excuse to do another Hotshot after all these years. Do a decent one. You know, after we got like that, what was it, the Legacy one there and stuff. Now we could get one for Energon. I mean, there hasn't been an update of that Energon version in forever. So, very, very interesting, to say the least. Who knows? Who knows? Faker is Nemesis. Oh, Faker is obviously going to be the Optimus in Nemesis colors. That's like a given. Except maybe they'll do like the chest robotic thing too. You know, Landmine. That's another good one. That's a really good figure. T-formers. There's quite a few. I mean, imagine a Overgear, tidal wave. Oof, that's going to be wild. But yeah, it is something to think about because it starts to make a lot more sense. Because again, I was looking at it from the surface. I'm going, okay, Blackout. So Blackout is primarily been associated with the movie stuff. So it's a movie design, right? And because movie had an Ironhide, okay, I'm thinking movie Ironhide. And then I'm thinking in 3D of movie stuff. But no, Blackout also had an Energon trademark, and Blackout actually debuted as a Micromaster character, specifically a Micromaster combiner vehicle. So that history goes far back. Far back. But yeah, we're not done yet, though. Let's talk about also Delta Magnus and a second update. So we have Delta Magnus now. We got our first look of him, the world's worst kept secret in terms of what is going to be coming next from Missing Link. Because the second we saw Deerstalker with that Ultra Magnus, we knew that, oh, they're definitely doing a Diaclone repaint now. If there was any doubt before, by having his little, Energon, not Energon, his little battle buggy, there was no doubt after that. So this guy here is called Power Drive instead of Powered Buggy. That's the trademark name they're going with for the red character here. That name actually originates from the Masterpiece release. Now, I was mistaken. I thought there would be a synergy in that because Delta Magnus came with Marissa Fairborn, and I assumed that this Diaclone driver was Marissa Fairborn. I am actually incorrect because after further inspection through multiple people pointing it out to me, the sculpt is very much like Carly. Now that is an interesting choice to go with Carly, but you can't deny that it's her, especially when you look at the collar of the shirt, the blue in those certain areas, the haircut. They are indeed correct. That is Carly. So it is an interesting choice. So we're looking at Missing Link Carly instead. But then that begs the question, was the one that came with Ultra Magnus all this time, was that Spike? Do we have to go back and look at that one now? And now you have to get Ultra Magnus and Delta Magnus against Spike and Carly? Does that mean at some point we're going to get a Sparkplug and a Daniel? Maybe we'll get an actual Marissa Fairborn? Who knows? Who knows? But that is interesting now that we have kind of a better perspective of that. Even the belt buckle, I'm seeing it more and more as I look at it. So it is what it is. But again, this guy here, he's also now part of it. He is going to be C11, Missing Link, Delta Magnus, with Power Drive and Carly, we're assuming. We don't have a release date yet, but if the Ultra Magnus is coming out in June of 2026, and most of these Missing Link items usually have a 2 to 3 month gap in between each other, we're probably thinking, September, October for this guy. So considering we just, we're in October now, we're leaving it soon. It's going to take about a year until you see this guy until you're in your collection, which is kind of wild when you think about it. And it shows how far ahead we see some products sometimes. But this is probably going to be in your collection probably a year from now. So stay tuned for that. We'll get more info, but chances are you're not going to be seeing this for quite a few months, if anything else. Quite a few months. This is the one that I'm actually looking forward to the most because I love the idea of Delta Magnus and his stories and everything like that because he's one of those like pre-Transformer characters that have been retconned into stuff. So very, very cool though. Very cool. And again, getting the powered buggy, aka Power Drive, done into a legitimate character is cool too. Maybe the next Transformers Generations guidebook, Sakamoto and the crew might even flesh out these characters more and tell their story. So stay tuned for that. We'll try to translate it too and see what's going on with it. That's it more or less for the All Japan Hobby and Toy Expo show, excuse me. But we have more to talk about. Let's talk about New York Comic Con a little bit and a discussion that we had earlier this week about the future of HasLab and what potentially might happen with some of the old tooling now that the focus of how HasLab is handled is going to probably change. Things have been quite interesting for the past, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks when it comes to HasLab, how it's being received, how they're handling it across the other brands, and just what's happening with everything. They recently revealed a Tron HasLab that is not doing very well, which is a shame because I think that Tron HasLab looks really cool. It's just not $260 cool. There's no way it is worth that. And it's a shame because, I should have brought it from the other room. I loved when Tron Legacy came out, that movie, they made some stellar figures and I bought all of them right away because they were cool with the LED lights in the chest and everything. And I remember those toys getting on brutal clearance afterwards. It got so bad, the clearance for the Tron Legacy figures, that the very last wave of toys didn't even get released in America. They cut it short, retail didn't want it. And the very last wave, which had Korra and I believe one of the drone characters, was only available in Canada, UK, and Australia. And that was it. And I remember friends of mine who were also Tron fans are like, I can't find Korra. And if I managed to find her in like a clearance store or whatever, I'd hook them up. But she's really tough to get because she was like later wave and they didn't even make it to there. So it was pretty bad, the retail for Tron Legacy. It's no surprise this new Tron Ares movie came out. They did no merchandise for Tron Ares. Now, obviously, people are going, oh, the movie's not doing well, so it's a good thing they didn't. But they didn't even plan ahead to do toys because they knew how badly the Tron Legacy toys did through Spin Master. So Hasbro kind of played it safe there and didn't do anything at all with Disney. And then on top of it all, they then do a HasLab that is 3 3/4 in terms of scale, two vehicles that are very simple, kind of like 3-4 pieces of plastic, two decos in a simple ABS, and an LED stand that you could have found anywhere on Temu or something, or AliExpress, and asking $260, which is insane, in my opinion. I think that's insane. HasLab's mandate for years has always been the retail items you would only have dreamed of, meaning things that would have been impossible for retail. And when you look at, look, that his tank, of course, like we don't live in the days of the USS Flag and Fortress Maximus anymore. So that his tank could have never been retail. That Unicron could have never been retail. The Star Saber and the Victory Leo, I think you could have squeezed that into a Commander class box. Lio Kaiser, I get that it's obscure, but that could have been done in retail. And all the others pretty much after Unicron could have been done in retail. But the mandate has changed over years. And now it's not something that could be done in retail. Now it's just, hey, maybe we could just ask more money. And the Tron one is an indication of we could ask $260 for 5 3-inch figures, which now keep that in mind, right? Let's do some math here. Let's pull out the old calculator on the phone, okay? What do you think, guys, a 3-inch figure, right? I don't even have like a Joe near me or something. I wish I had a 3-inch figure near me. What do you think the average G.I. Joe 3-inch figure with accessories should cost MSRP in a Walmart? Carded, 3-inch figure, what do you think that should cost? What should it cost? In this modern, going into 2026, prices are going up and everything, which will be in another discussion very soon. But what do you think a 3 3/4 G.I. Joe-esque articulated figure should be? Because that's their new thing. We're going into that. So T-Formers is saying 10 to 15, $10, 15, 15. Clyde says 20, 15, 15, So it's something where let's go with Clyde on the high end, which I always like to do the worst case scenario, because whenever you're arguing, always use the worst case scenario because it always works in your favor. So let's say it was $20 a figure, right? So there's 5 of them. So that's $100 for 5 figures. Not that I need to use a calculator, but I like to have a visual, So $100 for 5 figures on card backs, which could have been retail. And then where do you get the extra $160 for 2 very simple vehicles? And these aren't complicated vehicles. They're 2 shells that open and you put the character in and then you close it. Very minimal deco, has a little bit of an accessory that we could call a blast accessory. The wheel in the front doesn't even move because it's one molded piece of plastic. Only the back wheel moves. Very simple. Those vehicles in themselves, the MSRP on those should have been like $10, $15. And then the LED stand. Where is that coming from? And the Tron Legacy one, the reason why I'm leaning on this one so hard is the Tron Legacy one is the one that shows the most, more than anything, how we've lost the message and the numbers and how we've forgotten what HasLab is about. We've missed the boat. We've forgotten that, because when we look at our Transformer HasLabs, that, oh, all these complicated pieces and they're obscure Japanese, victory characters or car robots. Although again, Omega Prime could have been retail. Come on, guys. But it's just something where, with the exception of the Unicron, these guys, stuff started to kind of expose itself slowly, at least from my opinion, as someone who works with people in the industry and just knows how toys are put together. And the Tron one just exposed all of that. It exposed how HasLab really is, at the end of the day. How much money could we ask for something that we shouldn't? So it's something where, in order to achieve, the numbers that make sense for the HasLab, if it's $260 for those Tron things, those figures would have to be minimum $40 a piece. Now, you would never expect Hasbro to sell a 3 3/4 inch figure on a card back with one accessory, maybe two, for $40 USD. No one would expect that. That's what they're asking for their 6-inch stuff. So why are we seeing this on HasLab? What's the justification for it? Now, they could argue, oh, it's got to be licensing because we got to license these characters. Oh, it's got to be, the LED stand. It's got to be because it's limited numbers. There's all kinds of excuses with that. But that is not the case here, because when they pull out licensing with Disney, it's a big thing. It's a big deal. They work it in a package deal. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And then there's the argument, oh, the likeness of the actors and all of that. Maybe that's what falls into it. I don't think that's the case, man. I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I really don't. It's something that I really feel that, there's something going on there behind the scenes at the company, that they're using the HasLab as a way to gauge how much extra money could be done. And the fact that this HasLab also comes in Q4, which is the most important time to show high sales for their investors, during a time when it's been a little kind of sketchy when it comes to the holiday season, I do not know. I do not know. I do not know. But it is interesting. It is interesting of what's going on there. It is very interesting, because it makes me really scratch my chin and go, what's going on, guys? What is going on? Because, again, full transparency, with the exception of Unicron, I didn't have to pay for any of my HasLabs. I didn't have to. I was lucky to be sent samples, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be positive about it and suck up, because the numbers just don't add up. I'm looking at my Unicron and I'm like, that's the only one that's like, okay, that's crazy, that one. But the numbers don't add up. They really don't. And we're talking like $40 a 3 1/4. What does that mean for a 6-inch figure? That's nuts. And that gets into the second part of the topic here, which is prices going into 2026. So we saw quietly on Hasbro Pulse just over the past weekend of New York Comic Con that there was a switchover of the MSRP for Transformers product. And after I did that segment, there was reports from some of my patrons that some of their Walmarts have already switched over the MSRP in store for the Transformer products. And this is a little, I have a huge diagram on my computer. This is just a small piece of it. I've been documenting the prices of Transformers since the MSRP of standardized price points was created with Beast Wars. The concept of a deluxe, a Voyager, an Ultra, So this here shows from 2010 to today. Just a small little chunk of that broad picture. What's up, Aaron? How y'all doing? And this kind of gives us an idea of how things have changed. The $5 Legends doesn't exist anymore. The Scout got phased out into the core, you know, but we're always seeing an increase. And now our commanders are 100. Our leaders are going to be 60. Our Voyagers are going to be 43. Our Deluxes are going to be 28. They probably phased out core class because they couldn't come to a number that wouldn't have made people go, oh my goodness. If core class is in retail clearance right now, Canadian, $5, can't even imagine what we're talking American, but Canadian, if they're hitting clearance hard, and if you look at the price increases here, the 25 to 28, the 35 to 43, you're talking a 21% to 25% increase, depending. That means a core class, if they would have continued this trend, would have probably hit $15, maybe 16. Would people have paid that for the same scale, same price point? Maybe that's why I got voided out too, because they weren't going to be able to pull that off. And I like the core class. They're fun little figures. But I wasn't going to pay that. No siree. Now, you don't have to buy everything. But sometimes also when there's characters that I do want to buy, and then I see the price and I go, oof, maybe I'll wait. I mean, that happens a lot with me with Marvel Legends. There's a lot of Marvel Legends figures. I go, oh, that's really cool. I'd like to, $50 for a 6-inch figure. That's my grocery bill. I'd rather buy food. That's kind of crazy. So this is going to be an interesting discussion going into 2026 because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be discussed when it comes to toys in the future. And you're looking at other companies that are Chinese-based, Japanese-based, and you look at like an SH Figure Arts. And an SH Figure Arts has all kinds of interchangeable hands, multiple pieces, multiple layers, interchangeable face plates, all kinds of stuff, blast effects, $60. And then a Marvel Legends with maybe 2 interchangeable hands and 1 weapon is $45 plus tax, depending on your state. I don't know. It's kind of starting to expose things. Mad Lad Eats with the $5 super chat. What's up, Mad Lad? Price increases with size decreases too. Leader class used to be bigger back in 2007. Oh, of course. Mad Lad, I got in so much trouble because I opened up my Siege. Was it Siege or was it Battle Cross Time? I think it was Siege. They're all the same mold. I opened up my Siege Sideswipe and I took a photo of all the more modern Sideswipes through the years. And I noticed how it got smaller. Maybe I'll get it and show you guys. One moment. Let's hook up some peeps. Can I reach the Sideswipe in the display? No. Let me try. We're going to glaze Aaron for a second here. So here is a Aaron Archer era 2009 deluxe class Sideswipe. Probably need something that's flat to really make it fair. We'll use this Mega Man box. Okay. Here is a John Warden era deluxe class Sideswipe. You see what I mean? And it was wild when I first opened this. And I posted a bunch of photos showing it had less paint decos, less accessories. I mean, it just comes with the one weapon. It just comes with this thing. This thing came with his gun, came with his little backpack piece there that does, sideswiped rocket pack. It has more decos on it. It has more plastic. It has translucents on it too. There's translucent plastics that were used for like here. I mean, I get it. It's not 2009 anymore. And I get it. We're glazing Aaron right now. Oop, there he goes. He wanted to commit suicide. Couldn't even put him on the box. But it's something where, you know, it hit me even back then in Siege that we're going like this now, you know? Oh, we got a super chat from Mark Morales for $5. Thank you, Mark. If the prices have had such a dramatic increase in the past few years alone, this should be no excuse to hold out on QC parts and paint. Well, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you there, Mark. I mean, I think that kind of the 3D chess of it that people also don't realize as much um, is hollowness, which I wish I had a good example with me because I mean, they're all in the display right here, but I'll use a bootleg as an example here. But, you know, what's happening now is we get figures that look really great on the front. And in order to save money, by not having to fill out with the mold with more plastic, you have to understand, you have to look at it from a plastic injection standpoint. The more mold plastic you have to inject, the more plastic you're using, the more it costs. But if it looks great from the front, but then in the back, if it's all hollow, all hollow pieces here, then you just saved yourself some injection. You don't have to do a solid full arm because look, you just paint the front and then the back looks. Now this is a bootleg. This is a bootleg Cyber Stompin' Bumblebee. I bought it because it looks like a Cyber Stompin' Cliff Jumper, so I thought it was cool. I was keep it nearby, but it's an example of that. It's just an example of like it's kind of crazy when you think about it, and then you have like stuff like the Authentics line, which is like here's the Authentics. This is the Authentics Alita, right? Authentics Alita, sideswipe. Now, this thing should be $5 every day of the week, which it is. It's a nothing two molded piece of plastic, three actually because the wheels, and two deco hits, three deco hits. The cockpit, her stomach, and the face. That's it. No other deco hits. Oh, and the headlights there. So it's like, I mean, this should be a more comparable thing where this should be like the $15 item. This is the $5 item, but it wasn't the case. It wasn't. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Brainstorm 2002. I also miss firing missiles. Well, that's more just an evolution of what fans want. They don't really want the toyetic nature of toys, of spring-loaded missiles and stuff like that. They prefer more blast effects because they're more for photography. And I could understand that argument. I could. And if you want spring-loaded missiles, I'm pretty sure there'll still be more kid-based lines that'll have that. Marcelo's in the chat here too. What's up, Marcelo? How you doing, brother? Dude, I worked on Cyberstomp above level. I had no idea they made a bootleg of it. Well, yeah, it's Marcelo. This was it's funny, this bootleg. So this is one where it's like I don't have battery barely works. There we go. Blind you guys. It's one of these weird bootlegs from Chinatown that like it has a light up feature. Put an LED in the chest and call it a day. And it has articulation. I just bought it because look, movie Bumblebee when he was red was Cliff Jumper. So I was just like, oh, that's cool. Cyber Stompin' Cliff Jumper. Sure, why not? Welcome to the chat, Marcelo. But it's interesting, and again, it's going to be an interesting 2026 because it gets to a point. Got to get some water in me here. Solar flare Cliff Jumper. He's tension hot. But yeah, it's something where it's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2026. I'm very curious to see what products are going to come out. How is the injection molding, the deco, the choice of characters? Nate already said they're going to be reducing waves. They're not going to be doing four full waves anymore. Now it's going to be 3 waves. They're going to be on shelf stores longer. That tells me right away they're reducing the amount of product that they're putting out. And, there's different ways you could spin it on the corporate side. but it's something where you just go, man, like, let's just hope. Let's just hope that it doesn't get too crazy. I know me. Look behind me, guys. Like, I'm a insane Transformer fan. I buy as much as I can realistically through budget. But anyone who's part of my Patreon and part of my Discord because of my Patreon knows it's all about the deals. It's all about the sales. It's all about what's on clearance. I got this rescue bot, Hero Megatron, Classic Heroes Megatron on sale. I think it's cool, but I didn't think that it was. I think this was the original MSRP on this was like $14, $15, USD, probably $20 Canadian, 18 Canadian. I wasn't going to pay that, but I was going to pay $5. And now it's in these giant clearance places for $5, and that's what's happening. They're buying these entire pallets of product, and that's becoming the case. Oh, what did Aaron say? Aaron dropped some knowledge. What did he say here? Also, plastic toys are connected to global commodity index related to oil prices, and they have been going up. Totally. Well, you know what? And I worry that we're reaching another inflation index too. I think that there's another, I don't want to say a recession, but I think that something is going to be changing a lot. There's going to be a lot of stuff changing. I think that, here's a big one. You guys know I never talk about politics and stuff, but eBay, you're going to see no more Canadian sellers anymore. They're going to be gone. And it's going to, like, recently, it's been made almost impossible for Canadians to ship to the United States anything. Now, if we want to ship a product to the United States, we have to go through so many loopholes and tariffs and duties. We have to sign up with a website and put our bank account in it. It is all so crazy that now it's gotten to a point that that whole market is going to get wiped out. The Etsy people on Canada shipping to it's nuts. If I want to send stuff to people, it's going to be a nightmare now. And I think that little things like that have larger domino effects, and it's going to be a mess. And it's going to lead to a lot of people having money problems. Money problems leads to government aid. Government aid leads to money machine go burr. And then when they start printing money, all of a sudden inflation happens. And then inflation happens, and then magically a recession happens. And it's the same cycle all over again. So it's going to be a very interesting 2026. It's going to be a very interesting 2026. Maybe not for the best, but it's going to be very interesting to take a step back and look at, to say the least. But man, it's been nuts. It's been nuts. So I'm very curious how other people feel about it. But it is something that, I sat down with my friends locally because I run conventions here in Montreal. And the consensus that I had with my friends is we got to start running more conventions because there's going to be a bigger need and increase for platforms in order for people to make supplemental income on the side. And me running conventions for years has always been a way for my friends to make money on the side. They go out there, they do all their little picking and stuff like that, and then we all reconvene at a convention and sell stuff to make money on the side. It's always how it's been. Clyde, China is sending all AliExpress items to Canada first to save shipping, then Canada to US. That's going to end. The $800 rule is officially over as of a week ago, Clyde. That's why I'm talking about this now. For about 150 years, we had the 800 rule with Canada to the United States and vice versa. If the item is under, and Aaron probably knows this too, as someone who's worked in the industry, if it's under $800 in mass product, it is duty free, 100% duty free. That is now officially dead. That does no longer exist. If I send you this Magikarp from Pokemon in the mail. I have to claim its country of origin, pay tariffs and duty on it. And considering shipping is already terrible, game over. It's done. That the whole market is messed. So it's something where even me, I could still buy on eBay. Americans could still ship stuff to me. But when it comes to stuff to me shipping out, it's going to be a headache. I'm going to have to find ulterior methods. Let's put it that way. That's all I'm going to say. But because Big Brother's always paying attention. But let's just say I'll have to figure out other ways to ship stuff out to my patrons and stuff. That's all I'm going to say. But it's a mess. It's been a mess recently. So, a little bit of a downer, but just wanted to kind of cover that. Let's get into some positive news. We'll start with that one. And let's talk about TFcon. That's going to be next weekend. Oh, look at that. If I put my head over here, I'm officially Peter Cullen. TFcon coming October 24th to the 26th, maybe on the 23rd if you're hanging out in the lobby. So TFcon is next week. A lot of big stuff going on. Marcelo, we should invite you. I don't know why you haven't been there yet. You do so well. Bring all your box art. People would buy that. Just buy prints of the art. So TFcon is coming up. We have one of their exclusives revealed here, which is their Fans Hobby MB08B Huntsman, which is a extensive repaint retool of their, I guess, third-party Overlord. I mean, it's trying to be Skyquake, I guess. You know, sure. Or is it trying to be Stalker? I don't know. It looks like it's trying to be Skyquake. Yeah, it's trying to be Skyquake. So there's this. This one's going to be 600 units worldwide, and it's going to be $280. 280 USD, almost $300. 600 units. Just a word of advice: if you are not going to TFcon, do not buy this from a third-party scalper on eBay. 99.9% of the time, when an item is like over 500 units at TFcon, it does not sell out and it ends up on Chosen Prime's website afterwards. So that's something where if you do really want this, do not buy it upsold from a guy on eBay. If anything, wait till the Monday, Tuesday after TFcon, go on Chosen Prime's website, and I guarantee it's probably going to be there. And if somehow it isn't, if somehow all 600 units sell out, then, hey, if you were going to go to eBay anyways, now you can. But hedge your bets. If you want this near $300 item, which I don't know about that, but if you want to, that's what I would suggest. So check that out if you're at TFcon. If it speaks to you, I think I'll just stick to my old Skyquake personally. He's all the way back there. With all his green missiles and his GPS plastic. Or BPS in this case. But yeah, hey, it's Scratch. It's true. It's from Operation Combination. But yeah, so that's going to be one exclusive. But let's talk a moment also about the guests. We have a full guest list here. A lot of crazy dudes. Quite the turnout this time around. Got David K. Got Travis. You got Arthur. Ooh, we got Arthur. Arthur's back. Devastator Destro is back. You got Vince DiCola. Bust out your vinyl record of the 86 movie. Go get that signed. You got Bobby. Bobby Booty. Booty Bobby. I love harassing him. I love Bob Budiansky because he's such a straight human being. Like, he's so straight-laced. And I am so the opposite of him. We're both writers. And he's all like super straight laced, and I'm like all like energy. And every time I see him, I'm like, oh, Bobby, booty man, Budiansky. He's like, how you doing, Daniel? Nice to see you again. I love you, Bobby. I hope they put Bobby next to me again this year. Oh, God. Colin, if you're listening, please put Bob next to us. Oh, man. Anyways, Bob's going to be there. Ralph is going to be there. Ralph Macchiano, whatever. Not the Karate Kid. Let me grab what I'm going to get signed. I'm going to get this signed. See, there's Bobby's autographs. I'm going to get Ralph to sign somewhere here. The writer of the very first issue of Transforma. So that's pretty hype. He's going to be there. You got some great artists, of course. Of course, Alex Milne. My boy Alex is going to be there. Casey Collar, one of the greatest artists. Mark Watts, who's also a legend. I have his art literally just chilling above me right here, his Shockwave. And it's interesting they use this Shockwave art to represent him. I guess I think his best work was probably Omega, maybe. I think Omega Supreme, probably his best work. Oh, he did Jazz too. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones he did. The mini bots. It's hard to say what's probably his. He did the Constructicons also. Yeah, it's hard to say what's his magnum opus, but also he's going to be there. So many great guys. They're all just piling out. So it's going to be a great show. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Ton of dudes. I believe Colin's going to announce one more voice actor this week. So stay tuned for that. I think he's just trying to work out if it's going to happen or not, but there's still one more voice actor coming. So, but yeah, man, check that out. And of course, we got these two idiots that'll be there too. Look at these morons. They're going to be next to each other. So Aaron is going to have a whole bunch of cool stuff for sale. So if you're at the Chicago show, it'll be more than just art. There'll also be some plastic robot figures and other plastic action figurine merchandise for sale. I'm going to try to work it out that I'll handle that whole table. That way it doesn't distract from Aaron's art and stuff. But yeah, so check that out. Swing by. And Aaron will have some juicy stuff there. You could get Posca paintings. You could get original art. You could do some commissions. What I would suggest if you have a specific commission that you want, there's only a 20% chance that Aaron might have that instruction on him. So if you already have that instruction, you're probably better off bringing it with you and then getting Aaron to do the art on it. So if you do have a commission, I would probably suggest that, unless you just want to look at his stack and then pick something. So, and if you're looking to donate, also same thing. Bring them with. We'll sift through it. We'll see if there's some good donations there. A lot of good stuff too. So check that out. Us two dumbasses will be there doing our thing. God, I hope they put me next to Bob. I'm gonna bug them all weekend. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And then, of course, another exclusive. So this is the last tour of the Yellow Bee, the Pokemon Yellow turns into Bumblebee third-party Rat Trap box art figure. We did its debut in Canada. We had it at the last LA show, and now this is going to be at Chicago. This is the last tour of it. Then we will be retiring this one and then moving on to our next third-party transforming item, which will debut at TFcon LA, but that'll be 2026. So if you did not get a Yellow Bee, he will be at TFcon Chicago. We have a limited run of them, I believe 40. I think we have 40 of them left. And that is that. They will be $15 each. They come with 2 Pokemon trading cards, just as a nice little extra bonus. So you could pick that up too. And then also I will have in super limited supply some of my comics that I worked on through the Mega Man brand. I can't promise that I'll have them all weekend. I think they're probably going to sell out pretty quickly. I'm going to try to be very picky on how many could be purchased per person, because I know that when I sold them at the Mississauga show, people were buying like 5 of each because they were banking on these being worth money. I don't know. I would get it signed by them and then put it on eBay. I don't know. It's their money. But so they're going to be $5 each, except for the special cover. That's going to be $25. That's the retailer incentive. I think I have only 3 of those. So it is what it is. So those will also be available if you ask me. I'll have them under the table. And check that out too. And that's it, more or less for that. We'll talk more TFcon stuff, but let's get into sponsors, and then we'll talk about stuff that we got this week, and then we'll just take more super chats. Marcelo says, great suggestion on instruction sheets for Archer. Well, I mean, because one thing that we would always see, Marcelo, is I would see people come to the show and we have a huge stack. Like we got like an inventory. But the problem is some people will come and go, hey, do you have, I don't know, let's go with backstop. Let's just turn the camera for a moment. Let's go with good old backstop, the little rhino. The microphone gets in the way, which I'm pretty sure, Marcelo, you probably did the box art for. But so like, hey, you got backstop, and it's something where if we don't, I mean, it's something where if you really wanted to get backstop, maybe just bring yours and makes it's a safer bet, you know. So that's kind of something to do with. Scott, hey Proto, did you write a Mega Man comic that bridges classics to X series? Capcom does not want me to address that right now. Trust me, the conversations when I was in Japan came up quite a bit. You do have backstop, Aaron. Okay. Well, either way, I'm just giving an example. Hey man, backstop's awesome. I like his repaint. There was a repaint with the Universe 2.0 line that was like a gray and blue. I think it was used as a KB Toys exclusive. It was pretty cool. But either way, it's something where Capcom right now, they don't want me to touch that right now. That's we're going to stick within in between the games, retelling the games and original stories. There's going to be original stories and fleshed out stuff too in the future. We have a lot planned for the next 2 years and a half. Let's put it that way. There's a lot going on. So the next big drop of stuff I think is going to be in January. I'll have all that. You have the original art only. Oh no, I'm sure people would love that to buy that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. But that's awesome, Marcel. Marcelo, man, you got it. You got to do a show. You got to do a show. We're gonna talk to Colin. We'll get you to come by. Now you could Marcelo Hall of Fame Transformers. Yeah, you do that. Original Mavericks is something we are thinking about. Side stories, original characters. There's a lot of stuff planned. There's a lot of stuff planned. Stay tuned for that for sure. Stay tuned for that. I believe at the beginning of November is going to be the ZX book that they're putting out, which was written by Matt Moylan. And then we're going to get the Mega Man Legends book, which has that. I always keep this with this amazing art by Josh Perez. That's going to be available, I want to say late November, early December. And then in January, we're going to have my ongoing X series. That's going to start very 90s style. Issue number 0. The issue number 0 is going to have a guest artist. We have a special guest artist that's going to do issue 0. And then one going forward will be Hanzo, who's going to be our artist for that, Hanzo's art's amazing. Like he captures that anime style really good that works with a lot of the characters and the female characters. Wubba wubba. So he does a great job too. So great stuff. So stay tuned for that for sure. So let's do some sponsorships. So we'll start first. Oh, my camera's all messed up. That's what happens when you go, hey guys, look at toys and other toys. But look at toys. And more toys. Too many toys. Symbiote Studios, plush pins and t-shirts. I'm actually wearing Symbiote's Starscream sweater today. Good old Symbiote. I'm wearing their... I never have to buy clothing ever again because of these guys. It's funny, when I went to San Diego Comic-Con, I was packing my suitcase and I was saying to myself, do I have to really bring shirts and everything? Because they're going to clothe me all weekend. So check them out. Plush pins and t-shirts, whole bunch of new stuff coming. TFcon LA will be the launch of the brand new line of oversized plushes like the Commander Convoy, the Optimus, the Scheming Starscream, the Brave Bumblebee. We're going to have the Dinobot plush set finally complete. by TFcon LA. They will have a booth at TFcon LA, which Marcelo, probably that should be the show to look at to get a table. For sure. We're going to talk, Marcelo. We'll try to help you out, brother. For sure. Especially now that it's going to be tough for you to ship out art and stuff because you're in the same boat as me. You're in Vancouver. So either way, so these are going to be coming too. That's also going to be available at TFcon LA. We're going to have the completion of the plushes. They'll probably have some My Little Pony stuff. They'll probably have some of the non My Little Pony stuff and the video game franchise stuff that they're doing. A lot of great stuff going on. Check that out, yo. A lot of really good stuff there. And then we have the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We didn't get to record a segment. Everything is last minute. We're getting ready for TFcon Chicago, scrambling to get everything complete. Aaron's going to have a panel with Eric Siebeneller at TFcon. I don't know what you guys have planned, but it's probably going to be some good stuff. You know, we shall see what's happening, but check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Check out the segments. After Chicago, hopefully Aaron will go back to his regularly scheduled program of live streams, and we will do some new long forms. I have a few ideas in my head of what we're going to do. So check that out, of course. This is your last chance. This is the last week to pick up a Posca painting from Aaron before they go on the chopping block at TFcon Chicago. It's also the last week before the offer expires, where any purchase from archermonster.com/shop Aaron Archer store comes with a free 2x3 sketch card of any character of your choice, like this one right here that I got from Aaron of Rodimus Comboy. Love it. So if you want a free black and white 2x3 sketch card of any character of your choice, any purchase at the store, get yourself a Posca painting, get yourself an art book, get yourself something nice. And then he'll do a little something for you as a bonus. And again, this offer expires October 20th. So TFcon pretty much. So check that out. Good stuff going on there. And that's it more or less. That's it more or less for all of that. T-formers, my TFcon shirts are usually the symbiote ones, and your podcast. Yeah, it makes life easier. Makes life easier. You don't have to worry about what to wear. For sure. I'm hoping I have a new jacket coming, and I hope that it comes in time for TFcon. Marcelo, thanks, brother. Yeah, man, crazy to ship stuff around. Yeah, it's not easy. You know, Canada has its pluses and minuses. That's always life. You know, there's positives of living in the United States. There's negatives. There's positives of living in Canada. It's a negative. There's no perfect place. It's always how it is. Just right now, shipping is messed right now. It really is. So, what did we get this week? Not much. Essentially, I had a friend who's a very casual Transformer collector, and that's putting it lightly. He really only buys the top tier popular characters. It's Legendary 7, and then you throw in a Jazz maybe, or like to him, like Shockwave is too like who, you know, like he's a very surface level Transformer collector in terms of the characters and stuff. And because of the Studio Series 86 Megatron coming out, he was getting rid of certain stuff in his collection. And so I was like, hey, I know someone that'll probably want this in the secondary market. So, because for the longest time, this was probably the best coloring outside of the Japanese version of a gun Megatron. So he unloaded this on me. So I picked that up from him. And while I was there, he also gave me a little gift of a customized sticker GameCube with Mega Man X Command Mission on that. So that's pretty cool of him. Thank you, John. Very nice of you. There's the back. You got Axel, you got Zero, and you got X. And there's the front. Very cool. Very, very cool. He said that he doesn't know if it works. He just put the stickers on it many years ago, and that was that. So that's what that it is. So there's those two things. That's all I really got this week. Nothing too major. Mateus, what's up? No question today, just sending some love. Shout out to Marcelo, huge fan here. Hey, well, Mateus says that you're awesome, Marcelo. He loves what you do. Well, Marcelo, that's probably what you should, we're going to definitely look into if you could, you know, bring some art. I bought from you, Marcelo. Mind you, this was years ago, so you probably don't even remember. One of the old BotCons, I want to say, I think it was the San Diego year. Were you at the San Diego one? You had the box art for the animated stuff, and I bought the two box art pieces that you did for, take a guess who, animated Rodimus. And I bought those from you. So, because you had some nice prints. So it's something where you could probably do that again. Do all these nice prints of like, you should do like a print that has both, like the side art and the front art of the animated stuff. That would probably sell very well. That would probably sell very, very well. So I don't know what I paid, but I didn't think twice. So it was very, very cool. Yeah, Ninjatron. These were, yeah, they were stickers that you could buy. I know that like me, I have like I have the Wii ones that they did for Mega Man and the Wii ones that they did for like the Transformer Michael Bay movie. And I also have it for Xbox and stuff, but I'm not Xbox. Yeah, was it Xbox? It was Xbox 360, excuse me. And yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Again, thank you, John. That is so cool. Probably doesn't work, but it's a display piece. It's a lunchbox at this point because that's what the Switch was. The Switch, the GameCube was. Just put your lunch in there. Mm, you know, there's the you can put more stuff in the upgrade stuff there and adapter ports. So yeah, and that's it more or less. That's it more or less. T-Forms 2002. Any luck with the Swapticon 5-pack? Tomorrow I'm going to be doing grocery shopping. T-Formers. I will see if Walmart has anything because there's a Walmart right next to the grocery store that I go to, so I always check it out. And there used to be a Toys R Us there too, so rest in peace that Toys R Us. Um, but yeah, so I'll definitely check it out. I know that. I mean, this is the one that everyone's hunting for. You know, that's the one. That's the good one. But we will see. We will see because it's tough to find stuff now. But at least it'll be good if I could get it for you in time because shipping it out will be a nightmare. But if I could get it to you in person at TFcon Chicago, that would be awesome. We will see. I haven't even seen Wave 2 stuff. Wave 2 stuff is like, I'm in Quebec. It's always going to take much longer for it to come out. I can see I have 2 bottles of water. Been sucking it down, yo. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So also, because TFCon is going to be next week, we're going to probably do maybe a live stream during the week just leading up to the show because I probably won't have time to do an actual segment and stuff. So I think because my plane leaves later in the day, I'll probably do a live stream before I leave. Like I'll just do I'll go live, hang out with you guys, and then I'll leave to go catch my plane. Because you got to go like 3 hours early because that's always how it is. But it's something where I did say I was going to show some cool stuff. So here's a little preview of what probably that live stream have. So here's some of those crazy Ninja Turtle stuff. This is Saint Turtle. So one of the more less weirder Ninja Turtle items. This is a sealed one that I have. There's these like it transforms with the super mutation with the mutagen stone. Anyone who knows the craziness of Saint Turtle and the Super Turtles, which is it's interesting because it's Playmates and the Takara import. So that's always cool. And I have, because I'm a psychopath, I have a loose one here too. And there's good old Saint Turtle with his chrome turtle shell because he's badass. So for people that don't know, the story with this is the Ninja Turtles got the super mutastones, which give them the ability to have these super mutations, and they become the Super Turtles. And then they're able to combine to make Saint Turtle. And if you look carefully, you have Leo's mask on the actual character. Don's are the arms, and Leo and Mikey, excuse me, and Raphael and Mikey are the legs. So very, very cool. That's just a small little taste of some of the craziness that will probably be showing on on later this week for sure. Very, very cool. But yeah, I have like a lot of weird Chinese and Japanese turtle stuff because I don't collect much Ninja Turtle stuff, but I like the weird stuff that I find when I go to Japan because there's so much of it. Because they don't care about Ninja Turtles. Like it wasn't as big a deal for them there. So to pick up this stuff is so easy to find. There was so much loose Ninja Turtle stuff in Mandarake. It was ridiculous. And I just didn't have space in my suitcase, nor did I need any of it. Like, I don't need like, a whole bag of like, 87, 88 turtles, but man, there's a lot of cool stuff there. Jake, it always amazes how quickly you pull out figures to show. Well, I mean, I have a rule that it should be either on display or it should be like carefully sorted somewhere for easy pulling. Giggity. And at least when it comes to the vintage turtle stuff, I have a nice like I think I have it on my phone. It's a little dated, the photo, mind you, but I have a nice display of all my vintage turtle stuff. Let me see if I have it. It's probably an old photo though. Oh yeah, it's a really old photo. But that's just some of it. Same story. Glass displays, glass shelving, deep walls, you know. Not the best photo. I've updated it since then, got a bunch of Japanese stuff. The Japanese sewer play set is really cool. Like I want to show all that craziness. But yeah, lot of cool stuff. Bootlegs are the way to go. I love bootlegs. I love bootlegs as long as they have character. If it's a one for one bootleg, I don't care. Like I'm not big on one for one bootlegs, but when you do stuff that has, a unique head sculpt or it's a unique kind of design, I think the only one for one bootlegs I'm kind of for is when they do stuff of like really old product that's never going to get a reissue that's worth a ton of money. Like there's like a bunch of bootlegs of some like really, really rare like Transformer stuff that's never going to get reissues. And like that stuff, sure. Sure, why not? You know, you're never going to get a official release of Browning. The gun from Master Force. That was he was Pistol Robo with Microman. Like you're never going to get an official release of that. So if the bootleggers want to do that, I almost don't feel bad because it's not like they're taking money from Takara because Takara won't do it. You know, so it's just something where if Takara's not going to make money and, the bootlegger is going to at least make some fans happy, then go for it. Will Murphy, have you read issue 25 of the Skybound Transformer comics yet? Yes, I have. I don't really like to talk about the comics though, because a lot of people are behind on reading it because they're relying on trade paperbacks. And we are not up to issue number 25 in trade paperbacks in both the Transformer Ongoing and, of course, the Void Rivals side Energon Universe book. So it's kind of on the side. Do you post any photos of your displays? Proto, I don't think I've ever done major photos ever. I know when I did the Hot Rod Tower, which is in the south part of the room there, I did some photos of it, but I've never really done like you have to understand this is like wall to wall, guys. I'm gonna screw up the camera, of course. Like it goes here, all the way to there, and then all the way to there, and then I just screwed up the camera. Damn it! Ugh. And then all the way to there, all of that, all of that, all of that. Oh, look, a whole bunch of books. Like you don't understand. Just and now the camera's messed up. This is why I don't show also. But yeah, it's something where it's all around. And that's just this room. Then we have the manga room, the video game room. Like I'm obsessed with like a museum display of my hobby because I like to be surrounded by it. It makes me feel good. You could just sit there and just go like, You and your plush hot rod and your plush and your plush shockwave and just go, yeah, yeah. Look at those alternators that you guys can't see because they're off camera. Look at those alternators. It's good stuff. You know, but that's why, but I've always been an individual that how I got a big collection is always being smart with my money, though. A lot of times I don't buy product when it first comes out because I learned my lesson many years ago in 2003. I went to my first BotCons in 2001, 2002, and I'll never forget, like, Energon had just come out and I had like bought everything that first wave of Energon. I'll never forget. Like I bought everything day one. And I remember I was with my ex-girlfriend and we were on the bus at the time because I didn't have my car with me and I was holding all the products and it was like overflowing. And then I got home and I looked at the bill from Toys R Us and it was like, gosh, it was like $270, which is crazy when you think about it because now $270 is like two commander classes and now you're done, you know. But back then, like $207 got you everything, every basic scale, deluxe class, mega, ultra, and the Unicron, the black Unicron. You know, which X? You know which X, Annie? 2003. Do the math. I was a whore back then. Um, Either way, um, but it's something where you know it was just a situation where like I saw like how much I spent, and then I went to that following BotCon in 2003, 2004, and I saw that all that Wave One Energon product that now was like a year old was now $5 each, $10 for the ultras. You know, the Unicron kind of held its value. Maybe you could have found it a little cheaper, loose, complete, but like people didn't pay, who the hell today, it was is paying like, gosh, how much was Ironhide Energon? He was probably 25.99 Canadian back then, which I think he was probably $10 USD loose complete at a parts party. So I started seeing how cheap everything was getting and how if you just wait 6 months, wait a year, you could pick up everything loose complete for a fraction of that. And I started to do that. This Energon collection, like most of it is secondhand. And it's almost every figure ever made, with the exception of like maybe some McDonald's items that I bought from like eBay or whatever, and some of the Japanese items. Same thing with the Cybertron collection, you know? So it got to a point that I started to become very picky and choosy with what I would buy at full price and what I would buy waiting. And my rule was like wave one of anything. If it's wave one, there's going to be plenty of it. So I'm going to wait for those. How many people still find wave one Age of the Prime stuff still at their Walmarts? Raise of hands over here, you know? So we're going to be going into a Black Friday sale soon. All that wave one stuff is still lingering. I'm going to get me a cheap Solus Prime. And in the odd chance that somehow I missed the window and Solus Prime isn't cheap in Walmart anymore and there's no more sale and there's no more Black Friday, I guarantee there's going to be someone selling a cheap Solus Prime on a buy sell trade forum, on a Facebook group, someone online, at a parts party, at a TFcon charity auction, something. Plenty of opportunities. You know? What are you saying, Ninja? I got Energon Unicron for like, yeah, see, Ninjatron, there you go. Energon Unicron for $25-$30. And that, Ninja, that's probably Canadian, right? Like we're talking Toronto bucks here. So, and how much was he? He was probably, gosh, if he was the standard Supreme class back then, he had to be $75. If not, with Canadian taxes, you're talking $100 easily. So imagine you paid literally a quarter of what his value was, and all you did was buy it and you didn't even want it. you know, you didn't even want it. You didn't even want it. But yeah, Well, your local comic shop, Scott, is a bunch of crooks then. Or they're buying through a distributor that sold it to them too expensive and then they have to make their margins, you know? It's something where you have to be patient. You have to That's why I constantly like trumpet conventions because conventions are the best way to save money. You might pay the entry fee to get in. You might factor that in as part of the cost. And then of course we have to fly out and stay at a hotel. But I'm saying even local conventions. Like if you go to a local convention and it's cheap to get in, look, the cons I run, they're $5 at the door, you know, $5 Canadian. What is that, like 18 cents American? You know? But, like it's something where once you're through that door, dig through those bins, find deals. I find deals all the time, all the time. My goodness. Again, when I came back from the Mississauga video game show, like I picked up a whole bunch of wacky toys and stuff that were just like so cheap that if I would have bought it off of eBay or wherever, it would have been way more expensive, you know? But yeah, that's what I always say. Be smart with your money. Always be smart with it. And now more than ever, because we're entering an era where prices are going up and stuff, you know, think about, will this item go up or down in value? You really have to think like that now. And it's something where if you see a wave one item and it's not something that's like again, I'm excited about Solus Prime, but at the same time, she's not exactly something that's flying off the shelves because I'm still seeing her on the shelves right now. I still see her every time. Every time I go there, I still see her on the shelves, and I'm just waiting for a sale. I'm waiting, and then I'll have her. And then I'll have yet again another one of the 13. But I'm not paying the MSRP that us Canadians have to pay for deluxes. It's ridiculous. $34.99 Canadian plus 13 to 14 to 15% taxes depending on where you are in Canada. Forget that. Forget that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I used to pay that for ultra classes. I used to buy an alternator for that. You know? It's madness. Madness. And again, I know I'll find her because as someone who helps run the TFcon charity auction, I see the same patterns year after year after year. And it's always that. It's always that. It's always the same thing. Marcelo, you got you're going to have the Cherry Bomb Toy Expo in Vancouver. There's a few good shows out there. And you're lucky too because it's West Coast. So you also get a lot of like Japanese import stuff that ends up there cheaply. There's a strong Japanese community in the West Coast of Canada. So as a result, there's a lot of secondary market items that bleed into there too. As a result, it's good stuff. It's the same thing with the West Coast American shows, you know? But yeah, so it's something where, and even if like, look, El Kevo, you said you don't have any. If you don't see any conventions in your area, then put it to yourself to put one together, you know? I started running conventions locally in Montreal only because no one else was doing it. It was me and a bunch of friends. We would get in an Econoline van and drive 6 hours to Toronto. And we would do it back and forth all the time to do conventions. And then one day, shout out to my buddy Camise, we almost died on the road. We took this Econoline van. We drove in winter. It was December to do a 1-day toy show. And then we drove back that same day. We're psychopaths. It's like 12 hours of driving. And when we were driving back, there was a snowstorm. And it was insane because we're in this Econoline van driving on the highway back to, well, like just the roads back to Montreal, and the roads are terrible. And the people that you rent these Econolines for, they put these terrible all wheel tire, all season tires that are absolute bald because they never take care of them. So we literally had to like stop at an en route because we were going to die. We were going to be in a ditch if we kept going. And we got home at like 4 a.m. in the morning. We all had work the next day. Imagine. But we used to do crazy stuff like that. And then we said, no more, no more. And then we started putting our own shows together. You get a bunch of friends. You get a bunch, you go to stores. You contact other collectors of different groups of Star Wars and this, and you go, hey, do you want to just put a show together? We'll rent a space. We'll put everything together. We'll advertise it on Facebook. That's all you got to do. It's all you got to do. It's all you got to do. But yeah, time to go. Had a great time here. Hope you guys have a great TFcon weekend. Thanks, Marcelo, for swinging by, brother. And keep doing the good work. Nice work on the Nemesis Prime box art from New York Comic Con. That looked really nice. Looked good. And knowing you, you probably did. You did quite a few Nemesis throughout the years. Actually, now that I think about it, so it's business as usual for you, I guess. So, but yeah, that's what I always say. You know, you have to. It's the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. You gotta do it if other people won't. Because the one thing that always was kind of silly was I would go. This is TFcon Toronto many years ago, but I don't want to name her name. But I remember every year she used to like come to me and go like, "Why don't you do a TFcon in my town? We have no conventions in my town." And it's like, well, why don't you run one? It's not hard to do. Trust me, it really isn't. It really isn't, guys. You call a hotel. You go, hey, how much does it cost to rent your space? And then you do math. And that's it. You do math. Oh, $100 to rent the space? How many tables in there? Oh, there's 10 tables? I'm just doing simple math for you guys. Okay, then if I get 10 friends, we each pay $10 each, we could rent the space. Maybe charge $1 at the door so you make a little money for your time. You know what I'm saying? You know? Know what I'm saying? Aaron Archer says, Marcelo, one of the best right there. Well, you hired him, didn't you, Aaron? So you get to take credit for that one. A lot of most of Marcelo's art was on this stuff, eh? Let me bust out the old trading cards. I don't have a full set. I'm still trying to make a full set. I actually have a little checklist of everything that I'm missing. But Marcelo worked on a lot of these, didn't he? Like a lot of these trading cards, all the Fleer ones. Oh, look at that. Good old Refute, I think it was named. One day I'll get a full set of those. One day. These are my signed Transformer 1 cards from the voice actors. Trying to build a collection of those. Whenever there's a Transformers 1 voice actor, I try to get their trading card signed. So I got Jazz and I got Shockwave. Working, we're gonna meet Thor one day and get him to sign an Optimus Prime card. That's how it is. Aaron says it's easy to get one job, 25 years. That's something special. Yeah, seriously, eh? Aaron gets you a job and you still got it for 25 years. Imagine that. Imagine that. Life is funny like that, Aaron. That's the beauty of it, you know? Life is funny like that. Think about it. You would have been day one working on gargoyles and how that would have changed everything if you were working on gargoyles instead of Batman, you know? Because your work with Batman kind of solidified you knowledge wise for the rest of what you would do later on. But if you would have done gargoyles, and let's say gargoyles continued for a wave or two, and then that failed, and then it led to different openings, and then they put you on Steel or some other like terrible or Water World or Congo, some of the lesser Kenner toy lines at the time. You know, who knows? Who knows where the world would be right now? It'd be a whole different thing. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff. I can't wait for TFcon. It's going to be fun as hell, man. It's going to be fun as hell. You found Marcelo on the TFW 2005 art page. That is so an Alex Milne story because that's the same. Like Alex was posting his art on DeviantArt, and Pat Lee at 3 a.m. in the morning had to meet a deadline, and he needed to find someone locally. Like that was because this is like before, great internet and, people would work with fax machines. So he had to find someone locally that could do art quickly. And he went on DeviantArt and he just searched for artists in Toronto or the general area that did Transformers. And luckily there was Alex's art and the rest was history. Imagine. You would have worked on Superman, Planet of the Apes. Oh, you worked on It's true, you did work on Pokemon and Small Soldiers. We got to milk that more. I'm telling you, people need to know about your Pokemon work. That's money on the table, my friend. People don't realize Aaron worked on Jesse and James. They don't realize how much of a big deal that is. But yeah, Aaron doesn't even realize how much of a big deal. One day, I actually own those figures. I own them. One day I'm going to bring those 2 PVC figures to a show. Maybe, should I bring them to Chicago? Should I bring them to Chicago? I don't know. Maybe I'll bring them to LA. I have them still with their stands and everything. Very, very cool. But yeah. Otherwise, again, hope to all see you next week. We're going to be selling our little boy there. Hope whoever didn't get one gets one. Again, these will be 15 each. And again, we'll have a few Mega Man comics, and Aaron will have a whole bunch of amazing art. So be sure to pick up the art more than anything, because those are once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. My face will always be around. I'll always be around. You can always get stuff through me. But original one of one art from Aaron, you don't want to miss those opportunities. It's true. Should I? I don't know. Because usually, always for Aaron's table, I bring 1 or 2 items that reflect what he's done. I like bringing Vector Prime because it's a nice table piece. Sometimes I bring Megatron. Sometimes I bring. Who did I bring last time? I think I also brought. I brought Scavenger from Armada one year. Something that doesn't take too much space in the suitcase. Not going to bring like Armada Unicron as much as I would love to. That'd be really cool. But I don't know, Aaron, are you bringing stuff with that you've worked on, like for sale? Because then maybe I won't have to bring too much if you're also bringing stuff that you worked on. So, but yeah, so good stuff. T-Formers 2002. What's for dinner? We're keeping it simple tonight. We just had like chicken breast, broccoli, and I just baked like a potato in the oven, and that was it. She's not big on baked potatoes, but I had a baked potato with some chives and stuff on it. And yeah, that's it more or less. Just had a chicken breast with just some sea salt and pepper. I keep it very simple. And broccoli that we steam in. We have like a dumpling steamer, but we also use it to steam broccoli. Keep it simple. Aaron Archer says, I'll have my my Bammer with some of the other brands represented. Oh, so your Brammers was. I'm bringing Armada toys and package. Oh boy. Oh boy. Really? Ooh. So there's going to be some hot ticket items there. Very well. So that's what I'm going to have to be in charge of all of that stuff. Because the way I see it, Aaron, what we're going to do, because if we have the 2 tables, let's say, right? So we'll use this as 2 tables. If we'll have the 2 tables, I was thinking like me and you will be like next to each other, and then I'll put all your stuff to the left of me. That way it separates from the art, and then we could have like all the art stuff separate. Like we could focus on all the Poscas and original art and the paintings, and then all the toys will be on the other side. And then when you go to do your panel, I could just focus on the toys and sell those still. So that'll make life easier. I think he means banner. Unless he means Bammer, because he's bringing some Bammers, I'll tell you right there. If it's mint in box Armada stuff, oh my goodness. That's gonna be some hot ticket items. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Who would I want to have still carded? Do you have, Aaron? Do you have the assault, like Duelor's assault team, the destruction team? Do you have that still carded? That'd be cool to have. Oh, Zevos too. He's bringing more Hasbro wackiness. If you have those carded, I'll buy that from you. The destruction team carded. That would be cool to have carded. I don't have them carded. They'd be cool. Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. That means there's going to be some crazy stuff. Oh my goodness. You know what, Aaron? Do you have shelving also? Man, see, I wish it wasn't Chicago because if I was driving down, I'd just bring shelving for you. Damn. Because if we could have shelving behind the table too, so we could put like the more like hot, because obviously you're probably going to have some items that are higher ticket items. So those ones I'd want to have more back because you're probably going to have stuff that's like probably in the 3 digits, no problem, for sure. My goodness. Anyways, we're going to go through it all. We're going to go through it all on Friday when we do the setup. It's going to be madness. Oh my goodness. That is going to be great. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Man, we're going to have the best table of the show then. We're going to have like all the straight from the Hasbro factory, from the designer, mint in box Transformers. That's crazy. You're going to have the green tags with them? That would be the extra. That would be the extra cherry on the cake. You're bringing some shelving? Okay, good. Okay, so then I'm going to make a note because what I'm going to do, when I get there early, I'm going to try to get some extra chairs because what I like to do is I like to get extra chairs and then you put the shelving on the chairs. That way it elevates the shelving and then that maximizes the viewing space of product. Oh, we're gonna have the coolest like booth that weekend. Oh, it's gonna be fun. That's great. That is awesome. Now I'm even more excited about Chicago now. Rudy Mack, what's up, Rudy? With the $5 super chat. What era of Transformer figures has had the best pound for pound toys? Take look, designs, plastic quality, articulation into consideration. Well, I mean, with the exception of like early Masterpiece, because early Masterpiece, especially like when you get into the Shogo Hisui era, and the Shogo Hisui era was sides like all the side swipe molds, all the Datsun Z's, the Wheeljacks. The Shogo Hisui era, you were buying masterpieces for like $50, and they were 10 out of 10. They were just amazing. Like the side swipes, amazing. The Wheeljack's amazing. The Datsun, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I think there's some design issues with the headlight, the side mirrors and stuff, but I mean, what a great era. The Shogo Hisui era of masterpieces. Like they were cheap, like they were like affordable, and they were like bangers. They were just incredible, every single one of them. Every single one of them. If we're talking basic retail, I mean, I always say like Armada was always the best bang for your product because you got a high quality hard ABS, like you could throw Hot Shot at the wall and he won't break figure. You then got a mini con, so you got an extra like little figure, the bulk figure, a trading card that doubled as a sticker, a mini comic book, and then all the inners. Like, man, I wish I had some like Armada product nearby that was sealed to show you. But damn, trying to think of one moment. I think I might have a Hot Shot. 1 second. 1 second. Huzzah! Proto Man has almost everything. You could take a guess why I have an extra of this one. Um, I mean, this was your bang for your buck. Look what you got here. So for $10 USD, you would get a bulk figure, an accessory, an extra figure that had art. It's not like today where you get a Target Master and it folds in half and that's it. Articulated figure with articulated arms, legs, everything. Extra, you got a sticker trading card. You got a mini comic that was rolled in there. The mini comic was rolled in there. This inlet was, you could also double as a sticker. So this was also like a sticker. $10. So if you were a kid back in the day and you bought any deluxe Transformer Armada product, you got like a whole story because you got the figure, you got a little figure for the toyetic value and the mini con thing, you got a sticker that you could put on your binder or on like your backpack or whatever, and then you got a comic book inside that also fleshed out the story and it doubled as a catalog in a pre-internet era of what existed of product. You know? Mm-mm-mm. I always felt that that was like a key thing because I go back to Beast Wars when they had the 2-pack, the Croc Megatron and the Bat Primal that came with the comic book, and how that was such a smart idea. The 2-liter figures, auto transformers, a comic book that tells the story that doubles as as a as a catalog. You know, you got to do that kind of stuff. It's just smart marketing when you're trying to get kids into your brand. You know. Uh, MP Skids, the old Shogo, felt like the old Shogo Hisui era. It had that vibe, but MP Skids was actually done by Koijin Ono. Koijin Ono did the MP Skids because he worked on the original. I remember reading an interview about that. And the little Moto Campo that came with the MP Skids, well, the Diaclone one, was the same Moto Campo that he would drive to work every day. He would use one. So then there was an interview in Generations Guidebook. There's good old days from Aaron. The best old days take me back. Armada was absolute. Because I mean, and it's not just a bias because Aaron's in the chat here. I really mean it because like you got all of that, and this was repeated again with Energon. But the only negative with Energon was now you didn't have the minicon. Now it was just the bulk figure. Now you could argue like, oh, well, the bulk figure came with like an Energon weapon or something, a translucent weapon that took the place of that. So like you have a Rodimus now and, you know, it comes with a clear blaster or something. But and it still came with a trading card, but it wasn't a sticker anymore. It was just a trading card. But on the back of the trading card, now it had a bio. So, I mean, and it still had a comic book with Energon. But that Energon Armada, that was a good $10 investment for a child. You buy that and you get a lot for it. So it's just something where, man, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it a lot. I mean, I have books and books of all of those stickers and trading cards that came with them. It's good stuff. And that's something that's very like what Japan would do because G1 Transformers, us as collectors, we didn't get in the West the trading cards. Every single G1 Transformer, every Beast Wars toy, every Car Robots RID toy, they all came with trading cards in Japan. All of them. They all came with a bio trading card. They would come with instruction manuals that were like, gosh, they were like 22 pages, some of them. The Beast Wars instruction manual, my goodness, it's like a book that came with any like larger price point figure. Like there was marketing, there was like a push for that stuff. So it was really good. Really, really good. Really, really good. But yeah, I, again, it's like that's one example. I'm trying to think of some others. I mean, I really liked alternators, but that's a little bit more of a bias because I'm a car guy, so I appreciate the engineering of it. Um, I mean, I think it started to drop off a little bit around the time of I'd want to say like when the premiere kind of stuff happened. I want to say 2014-ish. That's when like, stuff started to shrink. Again, I don't want to pick on John Warden because he was always a good guy to me, but it was kind of like at the beginning of the John Warden era. And I know it's out of his control. He can't control the MSRPs and how much stuff cost and everything. But I think that that's kind of when it started to slip a little bit, you know. Havoc, not to mention that I had a great show. It had a great show, a great character. Remember that the toys and the watching the show just acted out as figures. Yeah, look, the whole point. Let's be real, guys. The whole point of these brands is to make you excited about the toys. You have a show, that show makes you excited about those characters, and then you want to go out and buy those characters. I am guilty of that every single time. When a new line comes out, I take a step back and I'm hesitant because I go, okay, what's the story with this? Is there something unique here? And then if the show comes out, then I start making associations with these characters and then I want to buy the toys. That was the case with Cyberworld, you know, every single Cyberworld toy I own is something that has already been on the show. The only Cyberworld toys I don't own have not been in the show yet. And that list is shrinking very quickly. But the point is, like, I'm probably not going to own that green tank Hound repaint Megatron, because that's probably never going to be used in the show. That's probably a filler item. But I always do that. When I saw Wild King and I really liked what I saw there, when I went to Japan, picked up some Wild King products, and I love those things. So you have to kind of accept the fact that that's what the fiction was there for, and it makes us want that stuff. I mean, I could definitely say, like, after seeing like Blur or Sideways in the Armada cartoon, definitely made me want the figures even more. You know, made them more intriguing, that's for sure. And granted, they're great figures too, but that's the cherry on the cake. You know, that's the after effect. Like, oh, it's a great figure, but it's also a great character. And that's why years later we still buy these characters, because we have those memories of how great they are. Where some of the more unique characters that they did with, like, let's say the fossilizers and stuff, they're great figures, but it would have been even better if they had characters associated with them. Uh, Rudy Mack says 2014. Yes, I recall. Yeah, I think it was. I think that it was around then when, 'cause I think 2015 was when John started Combiner Wars. That's when that started rolling out. Because I started doing copyright during Combiner Wars, so I want to say that was 2015, and then Jesse hired me in 14, maybe. I don't know. This all blurs together. I just know. I always why I know 15 with Combiner Wars, because that was the year that I was working on the BotCon box set also with the Beast Wars stuff. So, and that was going into 2016. Beast Wars was Armada will always be the top two. Well, Beast Wars I think is the greatest written Transformer show ever made, bar none, bar none. And that's coming from a guy who grew up on Generation One. I grew up on G1. G1 was my childhood. But Beast Wars, if you're a rational thinker and you look at every Transformer show ever made up to this point, Beast Wars is the best written of all the shows. It's the most mature. It has the best character development. It didn't speak down to its audience. Like season 2 and 3 of Beast Wars is like next level 90s cartoon action and storytelling. Like, goodness, you know? Look, I get it. There's people that love Transformers Prime. Animated is awesome too, but it's not Beast Wars. Beast Wars has adult humor. Beast Wars has death in it, like on so many levels. It has so much extra layers of storytelling. It has Shakespeare in it. You know, you can't compare it. You can't. Are cars cooler than Beasts? Of course. A Formula One, a Porsche, a sports car will always be cooler than a Cheetah or a Rhino. You know, I get that. But looking beyond that, it is without a doubt the best Transformer series ever made, bar none. There's no argument. T Forbes 2002. I love Wheeljack and Hot Shot episode. Oh yeah, well, especially again, you know, like we see the leaks of the Wheeljack toy. We thought it was Sideswipe. We were like, oh, why does he have a slash over his Autobot logo? And he had a Decepticon. And this was like gray prototypes we were looking at. Had a gray sculpted one under it. Oh, is Sideswipe a traitor? And then we find out his name is Wheeljack because that's how the copyrights were back then. You know, like, and then that cool story. And then he had those gull wings like a DeLorean. Like so much great stuff. So much great stuff, you know? Absolutely bangers of figures. And now Aaron's going to have some of those mint and box. Man, Aaron, if you have a destruction team, oh man, I got to bring a box with to protect it to bring it home because I'm going to want that minty and then I'm going to hang that on the shelf because you don't get it, man. Like I love Dulor. Dulor is easily my favorite mini con. Like I have them right here. I have one on the desk here. I have like a whole bunch of them up there. I got to get some extra Dulor trading cards too. Got to track him down. Havoc says 100% agree with you. Beast Wars is number one. It's not even a matter of like the toys are the best. The toys are good. They're not like, oh my God, they're the best toys ever. They are important because they brought, the first Transformers to use ball joints and self-storing weapons were late G2. Cyberjets, laser rods. They did it first. That the barrier that was late G2 going into Beast Wars, they did it first. So I'll totally give that to late G2. But Beast Wars made that a norm. Beast Wars made it, everyone's going to have ball joints. Everyone's going to have self-stored weapons. They don't have a weapon on the side that could get lost. Everyone's going to have absolutely amazing, paint decos and mutant heads and all those cool early ideas of when they were just trying to find their place, Man, it was great. But the show is what won everyone over. I firmly believe, and I stand by this, Beast Wars would not have been as successful if they went the G.I. Joe Extreme route. And what I mean by that is if it was a 2D animated show. You had Ghostbusters Extreme, G.I. Joe Extreme, and you had Vortech. Those were 3 other Hasbro Kenner brands that were being remade for the modern 90s audience. And all 3 of those that I mentioned died a slow death. They were all part of the Power Block. And you know what else was on the Power Block? Beast Wars. So G.I. Joe Extreme, nobody cared. Vortech, it's practically lost media. Vortech episodes are practically lost media. Vortech was the unofficial sequel remake of Mask. And then you had Ghostbusters Extreme Ghostbusters, which was, just continuing the Kenner toy line and, of course, the movies and stuff. So it's something that, to me, Beast Wars, if they also were a 2D animated show, would not have gotten as much attention. But because CG was a unique thing at the time, you only had Reboot. The stars aligned along with dinosaurs and Jurassic Park, and it was the greatest ever. The greatest ever. The greatest ever. But yeah, man, I'm down for that. T-Formers 2002, I tracked down a Micron version of the show accurate blue with the show accurate blue stripes. Oh, you're talking about well, I guess he was called Rampage. That's all how the names work, but Wheeljack was called Rampage back then. Yeah, the blue stripe version, the yellow stripe version was the American one. I have a few of the Japanese ones. I don't have all of them. I have Starscream and Megatron, the Japanese ones, because they had little color differences, and obviously the hot rod flavored Hot Shots and everything, and a few other Japanese ones. Love it. Good stuff, man. We are at the 2-hour mark already, though. Unfortunately, we have been going live for 2 hours. I will say this: I don't want to close it up just yet with you guys, but I do want to say this again. Next week is TFcon. We will be at TFcon, so I hope you will be there. I hope that you guys will come on down to Chicago, hang out with us, talk about the robots at the skies, buy some amazing art from Eren-san, and some toys now too. My goodness, the toys are going to probably make a killing. Hope to see you guys down there. As a result of that, because we will be at TFcon, we will have no live stream on Saturday, and there will be no podcast segment on Thursday and Friday and Monday. So those days will be absent. Maybe we'll do a live stream on Thursday, if not late Wednesday. I will see how that rolls out, depending on things. But otherwise, thanks again for tuning in, guys. You guys are always amazing. We topped out at like 170 people. Thanks again for Marcelo for coming in. Thanks again for Aaron, always for hanging out. Again, we're going to be crushing it next week. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Swedish Chef is here too. What's up, Swedish Chef, who's a regular at TFcon Toronto? Just noticed him now, you know? But yeah, man, it's like, it is great stuff. It is great stuff. Thank you again, Swedish Chef, for Prima Prime. You helped me pay for that. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Once again, if you want to help support the podcast more, we got Patreon down there that gives you access to the Discord, gets your name in the end credit school. You can come join us and hang out there because I'll still be on Discord over the weekend, although I probably won't be as active, but it's going to be more of a communication tool, if anything. But yeah, man, it is going to be some hype stuff. It's going to be some hype stuff. You're only 4 hours away, James, and you're not going? Come on. I drive 6 hours to Toronto. Come on, James. Come on, James. 4-hour drive. Some people are stuck in traffic that long going to and from work every morning. You know? You could do it. Come on, James. Come down. Come down to the show. But yeah, thanks again for all the love and support, people. As always, like I always say, be good to yourself, be good to your friends, your family, and your loved ones. It's a beautiful world out there with a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff. And I'm going to be seeing even cooler stuff next week. Man, I'm excited about Aaron's table now. I didn't realize all the cool stuff he's bringing. You know, Aaron, 6.5 hour drive. There you go. See, Aaron, we drove to Chicago. Me, Larry. Who else was with us, Larry? Wendell was with us. Jaws D was with us. Oh, I think Julian was with us too. Pulse Dragon. And that was like, what? That had to be 11 hours. We were psychos, you know? Like we drove down to TFcon Chicago. We're crazy. And not TFcon, that was BotCon Chicago. I think that was one of the last years. I think it was 2015. I don't remember. It's all a blur. It's all a blur. So many shows, so many great faces, so many cool people. And next week is going to be the same thing. Cringe McCringle, T-Formers 2002. I'm going to see all the other crew there too. I know I'm forgetting names. I apologize. But we're going to all hang out. It's going to be aces as always because TF conventions are always the best. Thank you for all the love and support, everyone. We are out of here. Take care of yourselves. And as always, roll out.